Hello, welcome everyone. It's Rowan here, and I wanted to tell you guys about something exciting. Tonight, the longevity team is going to be interviewing Brian Kennedy. So hop on over there. The link is in the description. It's going to be a live interview on the longevity channel. So yeah, if you guys want to subscribe to that, go ahead and go do that. Subscribe, click the bell. Yeah, it's gonna be a live interview. We're gonna do maybe some Q&A if we have time. I think we will. But I heard about Brian Kennedy a long time ago when I interviewed Maria Konolevenko. Not sure if you guys remember that, but she worked for Brian Kennedy, the Buck Institute. That's how I first learned about Brian Kennedy and his work. So it's exciting. I've been preparing, watching a live. I watched a TED Talk of Brian Kennedy today. It was pretty good, and I haven't watched this yet. I was just thinking about doing some little prepping. By the way, it's going to be at 7:30, so very soon. Just wanted to advertise a little bit. Let's watch this. I've not heard.
Lots of research.
There are a lot of biohackers who take 50 pills a day.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's doing. It's a fun question to try to answer.
For example, cryonics.
Yeah, I'm skeptical about that.
Ooh, skeptical about cryonics. I'm already loving what I'm hearing here.
Hi, I'm Greg Mastrida, a rationalist and transhumanist blogger. And today, here with me is Brian Kennedy, professor of biochemistry, director of Center for Healthy Aging of National University of Singapore. Hi, Brian. Thanks for coming.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Can you please explain to the audience what it is exactly that you're doing in the area of aging?
Yeah, I'm active in a lot of roles. I sort of have one foot in the academic side and one foot in the private sector. So, because I believe ultimately to slow aging, we need a partnership between different sectors of society to try to bring about radical change. On the academic side, my research has been almost exclusively in preclinical models. So
I can't wait to ask Brian Kennedy about NAD therapy. I think that's the one I'm most interested in hearing his unique perspective on as far as the power of NAD.
Everything from yeast cells to worms to flies, and more recently we've done a lot of mouse studies. I
think they even have naked mole rats in their lab, the Kennedy lab, because I remember Maria Konolevenko, I think around the time she was working at the Buck Institute, there's a lot of pictures with her and naked mole rats. I think she was getting them from the Kennedy lab, Buck Institute.
What I went to Singapore for was really to start to take some of these interventions that we think slow aging and test them in human clinical studies. So the Center for Healthy Aging at National University of Singapore is really directed at combining good basic research with clinical approaches. What we really want to do is validate that some of these interventions slow human aging. So we're thinking hard about how to do that.
Can you please give examples? What exactly do you do with humans nowadays?
Yeah, I mean, we have 3 clinical studies that we're starting. One of them is really a biomarker study. As you may know, there are a number of different biomarkers of human aging that have been promoted in recent years. One of the problems, though, is we don't know how they relate to each other. And so you can take things like methylation clock or facial pattern aging or complete blood count data or more standard measures of aging like pulse wave velocity, inflammatory cytokine panels.
Are you guys excited? I'm excited to be interviewing Dr. Brian Kennedy tonight at 7:30. Don't miss it. Link in the description.
All of these measure some component of aging, but we don't know how they relate to each other. So,
with the rest of my longevity team, Brent, Alex, and Max, they'll be there.
The first study we're doing is to take a limited number of individuals at different ages, measure all these different biomarkers simultaneously, and try to understand if they're redundant or if they're telling us unique things about aging. And then we're following that up with intervention studies. And so we'll be testing 2 different studies to start with. One is exercise. The other one is alpha-ketoglutarate, which is a natural product that's been recently reported to slow aging in animal models. But that's only the beginning of the story. I'm relatively agnostic to what interventions we should test.
I'll show you guys some behind the scenes. What I actually have behind me is this. A green screen. I'm all set up now with my new backdrop. If I have the green screen, then I can turn on this effect and it should be more clean. It should be more crisp without any weird. It's not perfect, but it's almost the green screen effect.
And also which biomarkers we should use. My goals are to stratify which interventions work the best, and then try to develop a composite biomarker of aging that we can, for under $200, calculate an individual's biologic age. If we can combine those two strategies, I think we can come up with a plan in Singapore that actually slows aging and keeps people healthy longer. And that's critical for Singapore, given the demographic story there, where there's so many older people.
Yeah, because of high level of life.
It's a long lifespan, but it's also very low birth rate, low immigration. You know, immigrants are usually young.
Singapore looks like the city of the future. That's where Westworld was filmed, and it's just like so futuristic and cool. I love it.
And they come to work, but that's very limited in Singapore due to space constraints.
Yeah.
It's a small island, so. You know, they have more and more older people. There's only going to be 2 working people for every retired person in 10 years.
I want to hear what he has to say about immortality. What the heck?
And that's not a recipe for economic success. So the idea is to keep people working longer, but to do that, you have to keep them healthy longer, and that's where we come in.
That's great that the state has the incentive to help those research.
You know, I think that, you know, the problem you have with a lot of governments is that they're not progressive anymore. If you look at the United States government, they don't think more than 2 months in advance. Trying to start a program that's not going to come to fruition for 10 years is very difficult for someone that gets elected every 2 years. Singapore, you know, the same political party's been in power for a long time, and they think very progressively. So they're not afraid of putting money into something that may take 10 years to.
During the TED Talk I was watching with Brian Kennedy, one thing I learned is that I did not know is that he had a severe accident in a car. Drunk driver, like hit him on straight on. I'm sure that'll come up during our interview with Brian, and that was crazy. And I'm curious as if maybe that triggered something in him to really focus more on aging. I'm not sure if there's a connection there, but I know that a lot of people who come close to death, they all of a sudden start fixating on survival and living because they've come so close to death that they're not taking for granted that they're alive, and they want to preserve their life. I've noticed that pattern. It happened with me when I lost my spleen and like almost died from that. Then that's when I really started to fixate on death and survival. So I wonder if it's a similar situation with him.
To get a return on investment. That's what I really like about Singapore. They're not afraid to take long-term strategies to meet their major challenges.
I call it the close to death club. You know, when you come close to death, it triggers something in your brain.
Challenges.
Great. Have there been any preliminary findings with your research?
We're just getting started, so it took a little bit of time to build up the infrastructure to do the clinical studies, and now we have taken a few months to go through the approval process, and so I think next month we'll be starting to generate clinical data. Now we have a lot of preclinical research going on there as well, and we're already getting data there. And we're partnering with companies as well. We're working with Gero, for instance, which is a company that started in Russia and is very interested in both biomarkers of aging and developing interventions. And we're talking a lot about how to measure aging with Centaura. So again, I'm not a pure academic. I'm trying to find partnerships between academic and private sector that really generate the fastest response. And by response, I mean slowing human
All right.
You mentioned measuring biological age.
Whoa, look at those background.
We got Brent. Now I'm gonna plug in your make sure your audio is working, Brent. Let me do that.
Cool. Are you live on your channel right now?
I am.
Okay.
But right now they can't hear you, but they can see you. Let me fix that though. All right, now they can hear you, I think.
Hey everybody.
Yep, they hear you. And now I'm like gone. That's weird. My video feed is gone. This is why we're doing the test. Oh, there we go. I was just moved around. All right, now we're good. So yeah, you want to tell the Eternal Life fan club what's going on tonight? That's very exciting. I was telling them, but it's only an hour and a half now. We'll be interviewing Brian Kennedy.
Yeah, it is definitely exciting, and I guess I could show you guys a little bit of how I do things. So I have my other laptop here that I put behind me. Um, that way I can kind of ask questions from that. So like for example, I'm going to introduce Brian Kennedy. Brian Kennedy is internationally recognized for his research in the basic biology of aging and is a visionary committed to translating research discoveries, blah, 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 blah. Come to the live stream to hear it all. But so basically, I just have it all right here. Everything that I'm going to say is right here. And then I just put this behind me here. I'm going to hook it up. It's just an old Google Chrome cheap little computer that I kind of use as I guess kind of like a teleprompter to a certain extent, but I don't just read off of it normally. But it's pretty helpful, so I'll introduce him like this. But yeah, Brian Kennedy is awesome. He was the president and CEO of the Buck Institute for Aging in Novarta, California, which is just north of San Francisco. And we hope to interview other people from the Buck Institute of Aging. Judy Campisi is there. And he's also, Brian is involved with Lifespan.io. I don't remember what his official title is, but he's a big supporter of them, as am I and the whole longevity team. And everybody, buy your tickets for the Ending Age-Related Diseases Conference. That's August 20th and 21st. It's Lifespan.io and Leaf's conference. It's the third annual conference. They've moved it online this year due to COVID-19. The first two conferences were in person in New York, and hopefully next year's will be in person, because there's nothing like networking. Online's great, but being in person is the best. So Brian Kennedy is just a fantastic human being who is working to help people live longer, healthier lives, and he's very well credentialed. He's in Singapore now, where he's been since 2016 when he left the Buck Institute. And it ties into, I guess, what we were talking about in the live stream last night on your channel. If people push back on, I saw one of the comments there, somebody was saying they didn't like my rant about, big government, but it's really important for people to understand this, right? If socialism gets out of control in this country, in the United States of America, smart money moves other places. It's a big world. There's lots of countries. There's lots of places where people can go where their intelligence and their skills and their wealth is protected. And so people will go where their knowledge, skills, and money is respected and protected now more than ever, because we have the internet, So if you have oppressive governments or policies that people don't like, people just leave. And so I have no idea if that plays into any of Brian Kennedy's decision to go to Singapore. But he's a white guy from America, and now he's in Singapore. And I've been to Singapore. My wife and I were there in 2018. It's a fabulous country. They have the second highest average GDP per capita on the planet, next to Qatar. You live in Singapore, you make on average about $120,000 a year, I think, in U.S. dollars. They have their own.
You're saying that's its success and its advancement is all based because it's basically a free market.
It's free market capitalism. You go to Singapore, it's incredible, man. Everything. It's the future of a city. It's the future, it's a futuristic city. All the buildings are built within the last 20, 30 years. All they're downtown. They're high rises everywhere, shopping centers, high tech. The problem is everything is super expensive because, all their citizens are paid well, at least, most of them, so they can all afford it. But it's not a great place to go to travel if you don't have much money. I mean, we were staying in a decent hotel. I mean, it was nice, but it was $250 a night USD. So, that adds up quick. And that's just for the hotel. I mean, it's not a cheap place, but it's incredible. Everything works really well. Their technology is high tech. So it's a population of about 6 million people, if I can remember. I'm going off memory here, but I'd love to focus some of the questions around that. Hey, what you doing in Singapore? What's going on? And what drove you there? What kind of research are you and your team doing there? And what he thinks about Southeast Asia, Asia in general, about solving the aging problem, curing human aging. I'd love to get his perspective on all those things because I think they're very important. So that's part of the story that I want to get out of him in this interview.
Heck yeah. Are you familiar with Maria Konlavenko? I think I asked you that before, but you don't know much about her, right?
I don't. I don't.
So,
You've mentioned her to me before, but I don't know much about it.
so I was telling everyone on the stream earlier that she was how I first learned about the Buck Institute. Because when I interviewed her, she was actually working for the Buck Institute. So she could be someone in the future we want to interview on the Longevity channel for sure. She's very cool.
Cool. And I'm looking at this right now. So you're gonna go with us being on the side. I'm looking at our live stream here.
Yeah, I have different views here, and this is the view that's this is going to be the main view. So that was just this view right here is the media view. You're not seeing this in real time. I think there's like a little delay, but I can share my screen with you so you can actually see what I'm seeing in real time. Watch.
Yeah, I see. I just held the camera up now, so it's probably at about a 12
But
second
now you
delay.
can see in real time.
Okay.
So the different views. So this is going to be the main view. Wait, this right is going to be the main view. Although I'm not going to be huge like this. What the heck? Brian Kennedy's supposed to be here, and I'm going to be where my name is. That'll all be sorted out.
I like how you had the longevity down at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So you are gonna do it the way that we did it last night, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm going to be
Okay.
here. You're going to be right here.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And then I could do the cards. The cards at the bottom corner. So like
Can you zoom in a little bit on us so that it removes the little S Skype in the bottom corner?
Yes, good idea. I do want to do that.
I mean, Skype's cool, but I'd rather not have
Yeah.
their logo there.
Boom, just
Boom.
like that. And then the rest of it will be covered by Brian Kennedy's video. It'll cover that little side. But yeah.
Nice.
So you could center
that's
yourself
great.
a little higher if you want. Or
Yeah. Oh, I moved over to the wrong side, so I'll go over here a little bit more to. Yeah, Rowan, that looks really great, and I know we're going to continue to get better at this stuff. We're going to hook up StreamYard, and we'll get live streaming across all the major platforms. We'll be live streaming on Facebook, Instagram, DLive, Twitch, Twitter, LinkedIn, and probably even Mixer as well too. Why not, right? So if we can be live streaming across all those platforms, as long as it's actually possible to do that, I think it is, and as long as it's not too expensive, I think that's the best route to go. I think I sent you guys that screenshot earlier today in the Facebook group that Skype is now having ads on their. Like I opened up my phone, I have the Skype app on my phone. Dr. What's his face there? Dr. Berg, Eric Berg from YouTube.
I saw that. Yeah.
Here it is again. Look at this. Sponsored. Look at this, everybody. So Skype great updates in my opinion. So if you haven't checked out Skype for video conference anytime in the last 6 months, check them out. They've made some really good updates, and it's interesting that they're now having sponsored ads in their actual iPhone app. Yeah, the world's changing fast, especially with COVID-19, and I'm really excited to see what we can do with our.
Me too. We'll just keep on making it better and better.
For sure.
Bring it up. I can't wait to try the Facebook rooms. That'll be interesting when that really starts rolling out.
Story on our longevity
Mm-hmm.
channel. So guys, Instagram, follow us on longevity, and I did a story on mine. I tagged you guys. So Rowan, if you can Instagram real quick and just add that to your Instagram story. We'll get in the habit of doing that. But here's what's interesting on Instagram. They're not showing it to me now because they just. If you go on Instagram, Rowan, maybe yours will have it, and you can show people doing what they're calling Instagram video messenger, I think. So basically the same thing with Facebook Messenger video. Instagram is doing it as well because, of course, Facebook owns Instagram.
Oh,
So that's, of course, video conferencing. And of course, they already have the social component built out with Facebook, with Instagram. That's what I like about Skype too, the social component of it. Brian Kennedy, like, friending me on Skype essentially, and that's why I think Zoom is really lacking. It's really annoying to send people these links every single time on Zoom and join this room. Which room? How do I join? Like, I figure this stuff out. I just did a Zoom call with my family on Monday night with my aunt and uncle in Dallas. They're in their early 70s now, and you know, it's a challenge for him to figure a few things out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
my parents are the same way.
These things as easily as possible is really important. Yeah, I jumped in a Skype call maybe with you 5 or 6 weeks ago, and your mom and brother were in there. So,
Yep.
well, I don't know what the deal is with Max and Alex. Yeah, Max and Alex are. I'm sure they'll be joining soon.
Did you know that that part of Brian's story is that he had a massive, like, close to death accident in a car accident? Did you know that was part of his story?
I did not, but as we've talked about on our live streams, Horizon, you know, we touched upon that with Richard Hart, that most people who are life extensionists have some type of an interesting story about a close brush with death for themselves or a close loved one that made them start thinking like, been dead here. I don't think I've told this story, but another thing for me is I was in a car accident when I was 16 years old. It was actually the guy who I was supposed to be a couple months ago before COVID-19 happened. Actually, just a month ago. It was supposed to be in late April. And bad news, I know I'm jumping all around the place, but his wedding has been rescheduled to October 2nd, which is the exact same day born here. And I'll see if either of those get canceled before I freak out too much, because I don't know if I really want and need to go to RADFest for this community and for commitments I've made with people already. However, he's one of my best friends since we were little. He was a groomsman in my wedding, and it's in Kentucky, and RADFest is in Las Vegas. Try and work something out. Maybe I can use virtually if I'm in Kentucky for his wedding and come for the last 2 days on the 3rd and 4th, because RADFest is our 4th.
Right.
But in any event, he just got his license. He'd had his license for 2 weeks. We were 16. I was in the passenger seat. There were 3 other people in the back, 2 girls. And he made a left turn on a left turn green yield when it should have been. They had a lot of accidents at this intersection in Louisville, Kentucky. And they eventually changed it to an actual green turn arrow. And silly 2 weeks after this accident, the car was totaled. We were T-boned right on a left turn. I was in the passenger's seat. The window was rolled up. The guy in the back turned, actually, because I heard him saying, "Look out," and just crushed, T-boned my whole driver's side seat. I have pictures on Facebook I can find and show you guys. My face was just had all the glass shattered in my face. 3 corneal abrasions in this eye. 4 corneal abrasions in this eye.
You told me about this, and you were worried you were gonna lose your vision.
I'll find a picture and I'll show it to you guys here in a minute. But yeah, I thought that I could seriously be blind. Luckily, the people that T-boned us were just a couple of guys, so they really were helpful. The ambulance got there very quickly within about 10. I mean, I was very lucky to be alive. And yeah, they said that if I was like an old frail person like my grandmother, I would have been just that wreck would have crushed me. Driving a 1996 Nissan Maxima. This was in 2001. I was 16 years old, and the whole passenger seat gone. I mean, it just gone. I was passed out for a little bit. I woke up in the driver's seat, even though my seatbelt was on. His car was completely totaled. So those kind of things make you think. They were pulling glass out of my eye in the hospital room. I got out of it relatively unscathed. I mean, I got a few weeks of workers' comp. I was a lifeguard at this time, $7 an hour in Louisville, Kentucky in 2001 dollars. And, you know, I'm fine. But that had a huge, I never told that story on my YouTube channel or anywhere on the internet's impact on me. I was like, holy shit, like I really could have been dead. Like life is pretty precious. So it was all these things that kind of built up. I've told a story about my grandmother in the mid 2000s, around 2005 or 6
You've
or
been
so.
you've been
really
so laggy for the last like 10 minutes. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So in any event, that's definitely, and I found everybody has a story. So let's have Brian tell his story in this interview, I think. And
you were saying something about your grandma? Just when I cut you off there?
yeah, I was just saying my grandmother on my dad's side, I think I told this story in Richard Hart interview that we live streamed. Basically, she was a sad version of herself in the last few years. Medications at one point. She had COPD, emphysema. She had been smoking since she was 13 years old, like 2 packs of cigarettes a day, And, just a good old gal from Kentucky. Really sweet woman, but, the last pathetic version of the woman that I knew growing up, this strong, woman. And so watching her fall apart, but watching my dad have so much and take care of her and compassion and passing that along to us, his 3 kids, me, my brother, and my sister, going to visit her and things like that. And when I would leave her in her nursing home, this was 2005-ish. I was around 20 years, 2008 in June. But the last few years when I would leave her nursing home after visiting her for an hour or so, hey, Grandma, is there anything you need before I go? A family joke now, but her answer would always be, time. Just time. That's all she wanted. She just wanted more time. Her time was almost up. And she wanted more time. Even in her old, decrepit body, she just wanted more time. So that's what we're trying to give you. We're trying to tune in, spread the word. We're trying to really spread scientists like Dr. Brian Kennedy and his work and other people. He worked at the Buck for many. We're really trying to spread this work because it's so important. You just get like more funding for aging research. We could see a lot of people ask, when is this going to happen? It's not the right question. The question is, what are you doing about it to make it happen? If we all work together, we can really make an impact here relatively quickly. I mean, I think we could, if you want my answer, I think that's incredibly reasonable. If we had the right resources of people like Peter Voss, our last interview, right? For him to really try and build AGI to help us cure aging, artificial general intelligence, not this narrow AI crap that all these come into you like it's super intelligent when it's not. Real AGI, artificial general intelligence. If we get funding for Ben Goertzel to build AGI as well too, we get, Aubrey de Grey more funding, Buck Institute of Aging more funding. All continue to interview David Sinclair. He needs more funding. He's at Harvard. He's in most people for funding, but he needs more. We get these right people, the right amount of funding. We could solve this, within 10 years, I think. We're big impact on this. Maybe we're living twice as long. Maybe health from, hey, maybe 90 becomes the new 50, right? I'll take it. I'll take it. For now, because then we can build more from there.
Yeah.
So
longevity, escape velocity.
Final thing I'll say, Rowan, just to be clear, I am not predicting, this is not likely that we're going to cure human aging in 10 years from now. This is not likely. However, if we can move the needle more with what we're doing, and that's why we're working so hard, and that's why we want everybody to join in this movement and help out and spread the word. We can't do it all ourselves. So. Right. Get involved, people. You're already involved by watching this live stream or watching it later if you are, but get more involved, Share our stuff on social media if you can donate. That's helpful as well too. We'll have a Venmo, Cash App link, cryptocurrency links for you guys to donate to us. Anything will help. We'd appreciate it. We're not going to spend that money on improving the production quality and feeding ourselves so we can just keep getting better and better at this. That's what we're going to spend it on. That's what I'm going to spend it on, and I'm pretty sure Rowan, you, Max, and Al on the same things too, right?
Yes. Yeah, I like the way Keith Camino says it because it's not just one. It's 100 over 110,000 people a day are dying from aging. But if you take it down to the second, it's like a person a second. You know, it's one life every second. And so, yeah, even just the language you used there about moving the needle. Like he was saying that using the same language on one of his speeches. Like if we just move the needle like one day forward, we just saved 110,000 people.
More person.
Like we're literally like
Every
Schindler
day.
right now, like trying to save as many lives as possible.
I mean, it's like 30, World Trade Centers every single day are dying from aging. The numbers are just people who aren't aware of this, first learn about this. Doesn't matter their age. I mean, I've talked to people in their 80s who don't even understand these statistics. Disbelief. Like, really? Because most people don't live data-driven lives. For me, I'm 35 right now. Here we are in 2020. I grew up as soon as Google came around. I was just Googling stuff. I was using Yahoo before that, Ask Jeeves. I wanted to know how the world worked. Computers and search engines were the best way to learn that. My parents were cool. School was cool. Great way to learn information in the old time. But if you really want to know how things work, and that's how I also kind of figured out. I was like, holy shit, aging is just killing most people. Why aren't we doing anything to work on this? Well, because most people don't think it's possible. Well, it is possible, and we are making impacts, and we will continue to make impacts. But we need funding for these geroscientists like Dr. Brian Kennedy. So we're going live in about an hour. My wife made a delicious casserole we've done an Instagram story. I did a link. Follow us on LinkedIn, everybody, if you're not already. They'll link in our description of our longevity YouTube channel and then of all of our videos. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. We should do a tweet to promote this live stream, and also, Rowan, we should be including Gene the Chromosome and link to our other pages in our description.
Yes.
So I'll add that in.
Make sure you look for Gene the Chromosome in our live stream interview with Brian Kennedy. Don't miss him.
Don't miss Gene. Let me see here. But yeah.
And they get a prize. What's the prize this time? Let's see. It's gonna be the same thing. A group talk with the longevity
I think it's
team.
gone over well. I think it's gone over really well that way. I think that's what we should do.
Skype call with the entire longevity team if you find Gene the Chromosome. I like it.
Nicholas in Brazil said that he's going to find Gene this time. He said he's going to be watching. He's going to be the first one. So everybody knows, in the live stream, obviously, the first one to find Gene and comment in the live chat with the timestamp, or say I just found Gene. We'll know from that timestamp because it's live. Then you're good to go. But for all of our other videos, we premiere them. It's like it's live. There's no way to fast forward. There's no way to really cheat, find Gene quicker. So we do that so that hopefully you can be more engaged and have a little fun so that we can give something away, a little digital prize. We've been doing 30-minute Skype calls with people as a digital prize, but we might switch it up and start giving away merchandise when we start selling T-shirts and things like that on that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I've been commenting in the live chat. Looks like we have 8 people on right now in the live chat for the longevity channel already. So people just have to come.
I see. We got all kinds of people. Nice.
Let's see here. Share. Okay, so I'm going to tweet this. I'm going to share Brian Kennedy, reversing human aging. Let's see if Brian. Have we found his Twitter yet? Because we need to promote him anyways.
Oh yes, we should. I looked. I couldn't find one for him.
He's probably just not on Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to say, please join our live stream on YouTube starting at 7:30 PT, where our long team will interview Brian Kennedy, human aging number 4. This will be interview number 4 pod, and 4 of many, hopefully. I'm just going to tag you guys as well here too, Max, and I'll tag Alex as well too here on Twitter. Come on. All right, tweeted. She can go in there and like that one and read that.
Awesome.
And yeah, I should probably get some food.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna eat an early dinner too, and then we'll meet up a little bit for a little test. We got to set up until like 7:30. I thought that should only take 10 to 20 minutes. I'm pretty confident this is gonna work, so we're good.
it will definitely go well. And I can even message Brian and say, hey, if you want to join a little bit sooner, feel free to. But he'll be fine. We'll be good. Stay live streaming right now, or do you want to? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I was watching this interview with Brian Kennedy, and he's being interviewed by a biohacker or some kind of transhumanist. It's about biohacking and alcohol and Singapore and immortality. So this looks interesting. I'm just gonna, I guess, continue watching it.
Okay, cool. The more research that we can do for him, the better. So yeah, I think that's great. And start the live stream at 7:30 per se. We can start it a little bit. Well, so Brian will be joining at 7:30. He could be coming in late. He's in Singapore, so I think it's like going to be morning his time the next day, morning or something. I haven't checked exactly. So just FYI. So he'll be scheduled to join around 7:30. So everybody, if we're not live right exactly at 7:30, don't go away. We'll definitely be live even if we're a few minutes late or something.
Exactly.
All right, cool.
All right, enjoy your casserole. Is it cheesy? I love freaking cheese. Cheesy anything, and I love it.
Yeah, this is actually a family swapped out. So we have this delicious ham. My wife and I split an entire pig, a black purebred pig. They've been, thousands of years. No hormones, no antibiotics, heritage pig. And we just split it right down the middle of the body about 8 months ago. And we have a freezer out in our garage, and we kind of forgot about some of this pork that we had in there. So we pulled out this huge country ham hock, like pure ham. Just absolutely. We chopped up some of that, and she made this dubbed out tater tots for sweet potatoes. Organics are in there. So it's got melted cheddar cheese. It's got organic broccoli in it. It's got a few of the other ingredients, but yeah, it's got melted cheddar cheese on top.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's organic sweet potatoes, organic broccoli, organic, and it's not an egg dish. It's one more thing that I just can't remember, but it's delicious.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Max, we're live right now. You're joined, but we were actually going to sign off here to go eat some food. Can you hear us, Max? Yeah, so it's organic sweet potatoes, organic broccoli.
Max,
Max.
we can't hear you. Can't hear Max. Maybe he's testing out his new equipment, and it's not hooked up right. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. We can stay on a few more minutes to see if Max can join. That might have been him
There
on
he
Facebook
is.
Messenger. Max.
How's it going?
Can you guys hear me?
There, now.
Yeah,
We
we can
can.
hear you now.
You
Yep.
guys hear me?
Yes, now we can. We can take a few more minutes to see if Max join. That might have been him. There he is. Messenger.
Hello. I can't hear you guys.
You can't hear us?
There, now.
Weird. Max cannot hear us.
Yes, now we can. We can hear the delay, though. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I heard the delay. I picked up his video feed and his audio feed. I'm seeing him and hearing him. But he can't hear us. So that's a side up. That's definitely on his side. It's a speaker configuration issue.
Yeah, Max, check your Skype and audio and video in the bottom right-hand corner with those three little dots. Video are actually synced up. Your video looks good. So I think your Brio 4K webcam, Ultra HD. However, your audio is probably synced up to your, like, you know, or microphone is my guess. Audio and video and the bots video are actually synced up. Your video looks good. So I think Brio 4K HD. However, your audio is probably synced up to your. Well, on a different note, in our live stream chat, it's live right now for longevity. So Nicholas Chernavsky already asked a question for Brian. So maybe this format can go. We, introduce production.
Can you guys hear? Oh, you guys can hear me,
Yes.
but I can't hear you. So I'm trying to figure out how I can get this to.
We can hear you, and microphone.
Yeah.
Or your video's on.
live right now for longevity.
We can hear you now, we just can't see you.
He already asked a question for Brian, so maybe this format can go. Can you guys hear? Oh, you guys can hear me, but I can't hear you. So I'm trying to figure out how I can get this to.
We can hear you, and microphone. Yeah. We can hear you now. We just can't.
Let me see what was Nicholas's question. So I think for the Q&A section, we'll just read them out rather than actually showing the question on the screen.
Oh yeah,
That
for
way
sure.
we get
We'll
to
read them
select,
out
each
too.
of us can just select one and just read it rather than having to.
Yeah, for sure. We'll take turns doing it. So I think what we should do is introduce him. We give a quick introduction of ourselves as well too, plug our social media real fast, and we get into kind of his, his. I'd love for him to tell his story, why he's so passionate about aging research, and then we'll talk a little bit about his time at Buck Institute, and then we should focus on what he's doing right now, and then we can take time for some questions from the live stream from the audience as well. If he can join longer and we all have time, then maybe we can run it a little bit longer. For now, it's scheduled from 7:30 to 9. p.m. Pacific Standard. And we'll talk a little bit about his time at Buck Institute.
All right.
I can hear myself like from the delay there. So I'm going to sign off and get ready for this. So on at 7 and 18 minutes from now.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Sounds good. We'll
All right.
see ya.
Bye. See ya. All right, you guys. Oh yeah, I wanted to finish testing that. Okay, now I see you. And we hear you. Oh, actually we can't hear you. Wait, keep on talking. Oh, interesting. Okay, I can fix this. I got this. Okay, I bet you can hear you now. Let's talk now.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello?
we can hear you.
Can
Yeah.
you hear me? Great. Okay, so it's coming through. It's a lot better than what I initially sounded like, right? Because I'm using this new mic, the Razer.
Mhm.
Is the quality of the sound better when I'm talking?
Yeah, it sounds freaking good. I like
Okay.
it.
And then what about my video quality? Is it good or
Your
is
video.
it like perfect? But it's the 4K webcam, and I still don't have my lights. Here, Alexa, lights on. That's the most lights I can get right now.
Yeah, I think it's perfect. You have a great setup here now.
Okay. And then how do I look at myself bigger instead of a little small thing so I can see kind of
How do you look at yourself bigger?
window or no window? No.
I don't know how to look at yourself bigger. I mean, you could. How do you do that? I could make you big, and I can share the screen with you, so you can see yourself big.
Yeah, I guess we can do that. That's
Okay, I'm gonna make you really big, and then I'm gonna share the screen with you, so you can see what you look like big.
okay. And also, by the way, I have the speakers because I've been having a difficulty time listening to you, so I have the speakers coming from my actual speakers of my computer.
Okay.
So is there an
So
echo?
that's what you look like big.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, so okay. Is there an echo on your end?
No. Is there an echo on your end?
No, there's none. So I was
Perfect.
just wondering because I have the audio, the speakers coming from my actual so like speakers here. This
Mm-hmm.
is where your audio is coming from.
Right.
I don't have a headphone or anything. It's coming strictly from these speakers. Because I see that you're having the audio from your headphones,
Right.
having the audio come out of these speakers. So I'm hoping that it doesn't pick up from the mic.
Oh yes, that can be that. That's always why I go the headphone route, because I don't want double echoes and
Right.
weird
so
stuff like that.
yeah, let's test to make sure that we're not getting any echoes here. Just start talking pretty loudly and see if you hear any echoes, and just
All right, everyone. I hope you guys are ready for this interview tonight. It's gonna be exciting, and I'm jazzed. I'm super excited for this.
All right. Is there echo on that?
I didn't hear any echo.
Wow. So this is really cool. So this mic must be able to pick up audio and understand what audio is out of the speakers and what audio is out of my own mouth. That's crazy.
Whoa, is that
I had-
advanced? What?
Maybe. I mean, like, I always wondered how certain streamers,
Wow.
because a lot of them don't have headsets and they're just talking and the audio is coming right out of their, TVs.
So
And
maybe it can detect the direction from the audio, where the audio is coming from, right?
maybe that, or there's maybe like a different type of frequency. Maybe like the volume that comes out of a speaker is a different frequency or different wavelengths or whatever, than the actual direct voice out of your mouth. Maybe they could detect the frequencies and know the difference.
Right.
Because there's noise cancellation. Everybody knows noise cancellation, right? So maybe it has to do with noise cancellation. Because how do mics do noise cancellation? How do they stop other voices in the background and other noises in the background when not stopping your voice, right? So
Right.
it has to be some kind of way in which that they detect what is your voice and what is just the speakers coming back, maybe.
So guess how many people we got here?
Yeah, now
like
I wanna-
three.
now-
Says there's 3 concurrent viewers. We haven't gotten.
I'm one of those viewers, so there's 2 viewers.
We have gotten so few activity on this stream. Like few activity. Look the way I talk.
Yeah, let's see.
We've gotten very little activity on this live stream. There's like hardly anyone here.
Oh yeah. So is the camera in a good location for where, or should it be higher?
Let me check. So you're pretty good. You're pretty even.
Okay.
I'm seeing you in the viewfinder.
Here, cause let me call you on Messenger and I'll show you kind of like my setup right now.
Oh, you're calling me.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you my setup.
Oh, on the phone.
Yeah. Like here.
Okay.
There's my computer. There's my webcam right there.
Wait, I just see myself. I don't see you.
Yeah, cause I'm here. I'm right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be looking at the computer, not the.
Yeah, look at, I'm just showing you my setup. So if you can see there's my webcam. You see that?
I see. Oh yes, on your phone. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have it on top of this box here. These speakers, I have one right there.
Wait, but I can't see what you're trying to show me on the phone.
You can't?
No, I only see myself on the phone. I don't see what you're showing me.
You don't see I see you. You don't see me with the webcam? Here,
No.
I'm posting that myself. Do you see me?
No. I don't see anything but a picture of you on this the phone, the messenger. I don't see anything else.
When you answered the call, did you answer via video call or audio?
I think video. That's why it's showing my
Let me
video.
call you back and see if this works.
Okay. We got a like on this video.
Nice.
I just liked it.
Can you see me?
No, black. I see myself in the corner, and the rest is black. That's literally what it looks like. It's just myself in the corner, and everything is black.
It's weird.
Oh, you can't see it.
Look what I here. I just sent you a picture of what I'm looking at right now. This is so trippy. Send it to you. And yeah, look at that. That's what I'm looking at right now.
What you looking at? Oh, you sent me a picture.
Yeah.
Oh, now I can see you. Now.
Okay,
it
you
works.
can see me. Okay, perfect.
Now I can see what your camera sees. Yes.
All right, so let me do this. So there's my webcam.
Nice.
It's on that little box of my mic. There you are on the screen. There's my Razer microphone.
Beautiful.
The volume is coming out of this volume. It's a Bose speaker, and there's the other Bose speaker. So the volume's coming out of these Bose speakers, and apparently it's not pulling up this mic. So where would you recommend that I put this camera? Do you think it's in a good spot, or do you think maybe I should, because it has a way to, like hook up on top of this. I can put on top of the monitor, but that might be too high.
I think it's a.
I could maybe. Nope.
You have it in a pretty good place, really. But you don't look 4K to me at all. Not even close. You look not even. I mean, maybe 720p.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, because we need to fix that.
You might need to up your cam settings, like
I
with
think
software, just like Brent did. Brent had the same problem.
it might be the lighting. Remember Brent was saying with the lighting, because I don't have the light. The lights hasn't came yet. So look, if you see here, can you see my camera?
Oh, let me see. Yeah.
So if you see here, I don't have any lights, really. I just have that, but that's kind of far away. So the lighting is really bad where I'm at. So it might be the bad qualities might be just with the lighting.
Right.
So
Well, I tried to advertise with this stream for our Brian Kennedy interview, but I don't know what great help I did. Didn't get very much views here.
hey, well, the better the
You wanna watch a little bit of this Brian Kennedy interview?
do it. Yeah, let's do it.
I
I haven't even. If you could help me with maybe giving me some questions.
It's a nice.
I have
chair.
one question that I'm going to ask. I know that. If you have any other questions, maybe I can ask them. Let's see here. Yeah, this is my one question I have for him so far that I've done research on. I was planning on doing right now. In a previous podcast, you said you are skeptical about cryonics. What makes you skeptical? Because in a previous interview I watched him, he was skeptical.
Oh, that's the same interview I'm watching now.
Oh, really?
That was one of the first. That was
Yeah.
one of the first questions he was asked. He was asked about cryonics, and he was like, "I'm skeptical," and he didn't really explain why, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah, I want to know that too. That's a good question. I'm
sure.
very curious.
Because he said multiple times that he's interested in all fields of longevity, whatever works, So like cryonics is one of those fields, right? So if you're interested in all fields, why are you skeptical with cryonics?
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm guessing it's probably similar to me, where he's skeptical that the brain neurons and the structure of the brain can be restored from all that damage, the freezing, crystallization, and that whole thing. Right. And even the vitrification, the chemicals used, the severe toxic chemicals. I've heard other people worry that even if that the chemicals would flesh the brain so bad that you not get those chemicals out of the brain, and that could be very, very, very difficult.
For sure.
So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see why he's skeptical.
Let's also, while we're here, let's see if I can look at my settings. So how do I look at my settings to make sure I am doing 4K?
The settings, you're only going to see those in your Logitech software on your computer. So you have to open up the Logitech software, and then you can adjust the settings within there. It was called Logitech Capture. That was the software that Brent was using to adjust his webcam resolution.
How do I go in it? So I have to go download that on my computer, the software?
You might have to download it, or it might come... Like when I had my Logitech, there was software that came with the actual camera. Like as soon as I plugged in the camera, it just started to ask me to install the software. But I don't know how it is with the one you got. You might need to actually go to the website and install it. It's called Logitech Capture. You can just type in Logitech Capture downloads. Maybe you'll find something. But make sure you get it from the official site, or it could have viruses and stuff, obviously.
Technologists out there for that. Which one would you recommend?
I think they're different candidate measures of age
so
right now, and they all have strengths and
here's
weaknesses. Probably
link
the best
me
one
to
right now is
an Indian website. They want my social security and address and credit card information. So I'm about to fill that out right now. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that sounds scammy.
All right. Download for Windows 10. I don't even know. Is this Windows 10? I don't think this is Windows. So how's your day been, man?
It's been all right. Didn't do much. For a long time, I was just working in OBS, fixing everything, making the frames, making the different frames so that everything looks nice. You know, just working on that. Actually, I was working on this view that we're looking at right now, though. So it's like, just in case, when we're doing our interview, if he brings something up and hopes that I can look something up on the web. Now I have a different frame for that. I have our main interview frame, but I have like a frame where we can like look up a website, show a video, anything like that. If Brian decides that we should do that.
Perfect. That would be super helpful.
Yeah, it's pretty much all I was doing all day.
Yeah.
Watch the TED Talk by Brian Kennedy too.
Looks really good. See.
How have you been? Are you feeling better? You feeling better?
Yeah,
you were feeling so bad.
I feel a lot better. I still got the headache and sore throat a little bit. So, but hopefully that goes away by the interview time. So if I am pretty quiet, that's probably why. Just because of that. But let's see. Install Logitech Capture.
Is it like pounding? Like what kind of headache is it?
So it's not as bad as last night, but it's like I don't even feel it right now. It's just like if I turn my head, like I felt it there. It's like movement right now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I feel like heat-headed right now. I'm like all still really hot, even though I'm not like I'm sweating a little bit, but not as much as I was last night. But I feel really hot, like my head. But
yeah.
I'm getting I'm still doing the swallowing every time because of the sore. But it was never really that bad of a sore throat. It was just a little bit.
You still think it was potentially food poisoning, or do you have any other theories about?
I went and talked to the guys that I ate with at the because there was one restaurant that I went to. Other than having the eggs and everything else, was normal. I went to one restaurant, and this was 3 nights ago. So I wouldn't assume that it was from that, but if it was, that would be the only one that I can think of where the food poisoning, because I've been having the same carton of eggs and avocados and food that I've been having for, weeks, unless there's one bad egg, But yeah, so I went and talked to my buddies that today at work. I was talking to them and asking them if they got sick at all from eating. No, they haven't. So I was the only one. So I don't know if it is from food poisoning or not, unless it's from a bad egg.
Did you get yourself some activated charcoal just in case for next time if you happen to get food poisoning again?
Yes, I did. Or I did order that on the Amazon.
Good.
So
that'll help. I've used it lots of times. Where even if I suspect I might have gotten food poisoning, I'll just take activated charcoal because it's gonna increase your chances of surviving or whatever so much.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely when you told me that people take it even though when they're not sick, yeah, to buy. Camera not available. We detect your camera is either disconnected or being used by another application. Hold on, it's telling me. I'm on the website. The heck? Camera is not. We detect your camera is either This is from the website. This is what I'm reading from the Logitech. So camera not available. We detect your camera is either disconnected or being used by another application. So maybe it's because I'm using it on Skype. Try closing any other application that might be using your camera and then restart Logitech Capture. Okay, so can you stay on and let me call you right back?
Sure.
Can you stay on this call? Okay.
Sure.
Greg Hannon and Vadim Gladyshev in animal models has really developed that assay. That seems to be relatively accurate, and so we think that's a good one. But there are also facial pattern recognition biomarker of aging that's been developed by Jackie Han in China. She works with us in Singapore as well. Data from complete blood counts and activity measures and all kinds of other things. I don't know that one single measure is going to be the best thing at the end of the day. I think it's going to be probably a composite of things. But we're very mindful of keeping a couple of key features in mind. One, it has to be economical. If it costs me $2,000 to measure someone's biologic age, I can't scale that to the population. I'm not just interested in making Bill Gates live longer. I want something that's a solution for the population of Singapore and the rest of the globe too. The second thing is that we can't be taking muscle biopsies of everybody. So if you were going to predict what tissue you might measure aging, muscle might be a good one. But people don't volunteer for muscle biopsies. They're expensive. They take medical professionals. We can't scale that. So everything we do, we want to be scalable. I don't want $100,000 solutions. I want affordable solutions.
So nowadays, how much does it cost the testing on the basis of the first model that you mentioned?
Alright, you guys. My audio was not working there for a second because I ended that call with Max. Now I know. I learned.
Methylation clock, it's getting a lot cheaper, and it depends on your volume and your relationship to the companies involved. But I think it's becoming feasible to do this for around $500 or less. And that was much cheaper than it was 2 years ago. So
what I was saying is I like that Brian Kennedy is... I like that he's not just thinking about making the rich people live forever. He mentioned that he cares about making it scalable and affordable. That's important.
that's another advantage of technologies in this biomedical sector is they start out being expensive and then they get cheaper. I mean,
like the genome sequencing.
$3 billion for the first one and like a few $100s now for the 1 millionth one or whatever it is. So it's that's good. But my bigger concern is whether one thing is going to accurately measure aging or not. We may have to do 2 or 3 different kinds of assays to really measure it. And then there's a different level that we want to go to, which is how do we measure personalized aging. So most of the strategies right now are trying to figure out what's general about aging so we can apply one method to measure aging in everybody. But we all know that people age differently. And so ultimately we have to figure out how to incorporate that personalized component of aging into these measures. And I don't think there's a clearly defined way to do that. So that's going to take some research.
What's your stance on what aging is? I know that there are several approaches. Some scientists say that aging is just a gradual deterioration, epigenetics. Others say that it's a bit more complicated than simply deteriorating the systems. Yeah. What's your approach?
I think certainly damage and deterioration is a component of it. I'm not sure it's the entire component, but I think of it a little bit differently. I think of it as a network, a homeostatic network. In other words, sure, things are happening as you get older, but your body adapts to that, and it responds to that, it adjusts to that. And so you might be 45 or 50 years old, and obviously you can't run 100-meter dashes faster as you used to, but you don't feel old. You're still functional, you're still highly productive, and you're not sick yet. The problem is that eventually enough things go wrong, and that could be damage, it could be alterations in signaling pathways, that you can't maintain that homeostasis anymore. And when that happens, you spin out of control, and depending on what direction you spin in, you start getting diseases of aging. And our argument is that we shouldn't wait until you're sick, until we treat you. That's expensive and not that effective. We should be figuring out how you're aging and intervene before you get sick and keep you healthy. And so that's really a revolution in medicine, because medicine is not really preventative in nature. There's a little bit of prevention.
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Of course, everybody tells you to exercise and whatever. But in general, what happens is you don't go to the doctor until you get sick, and then you go to the doctor, and the doctor then develops high-cost treatments that keep you sick for a long time. And so essentially what we want to do is change that paradigm and figure out how to keep you healthy.
What's your personal longevity strategy? I understand that there
has
been lots of research, and some experts say conflicting things. Some say that nowadays we can't do anything to live longer. We should wait until more discoveries are made. Aubrey de Grey, for example, has been on my show. He is doing nothing specific to live longer. Others, biohackers, do stuff. What do you do?
Yeah, I guess I'm in the middle of that equation. I was having lunch with Aubrey about 2-3 weeks ago.
I think there's a lot of things we could do right now to live longer. Lots of things, for sure.
In Singapore, and we were discussing this. I think that lifestyle interventions work. So there's very good data on exercise, at least with regard to median life expectancy and health span. There's very good data on exercise. I don't know about maximum lifespan. Healthy diet, and I don't mean calorie restriction. I mean getting caloric intake down to what FDA recommends, because most people eat way too much, both in the U.S. and Russia.
So eating below this threshold.
Yeah, I think that's important, and a good balance of macronutrients, that sort of thing. Also, maintaining stress levels, and I really like mindfulness approaches. I don't think it matters whether you choose yoga or meditation or whatever else. I think the important thing is to be mindful of what's going on.
Do you meditate?
I don't meditate. If I get most of my mindfulness by running, because when I get into a long run, it clears my head and I can just think about things. like I said, I don't think the method matters. I think the important thing is that you're aware of what's going on, so that when you get stressed, you can recognize that. So many people go through life, and you know them, you see them, you can tell they're stressed, but they don't know they're stressed because they're not aware of what's going on. And I think that's the importance of mindfulness. And then sleep quality is another factor. And those things all probably matter. And there are things you can do now. You may not want to do them, but there are things you can do now. Now, if we go beyond that to look at small molecules and drugs and supplements, I'm involved with a company that markets supplements, so I've been taking that one, see what happens.
What do you take?
It's a combination of alpha-ketoglutarate and vitamin A. It's a product produced by this company called PDL Health. But I'm not trying to pitch that over another thing. I think that most of these natural products are safe.
And the purpose?
In animal models, they slow aging and reduce frailty. The question is, does that translate to humans? And we're doing the clinical studies in humans right now. We don't have the data back yet, but
so it's not yet FDA approved or something.
It's a natural product. It doesn't have to be FDA approved. Yeah. So with products that are generally regarded as safe or GRAS, they can be marketed, but you have to be careful what claims you put on the label. And so there's a whole business strategy to that. But I think that like nicotinamide riboside, nicotinamide mononucleotide, those are things that improve NAD levels. They're on the market now by other companies. The data in animal models is good. I don't think we have all the data in humans yet, and it kind of depends on whether you want to go ahead and try these things or whether you want to wait and see until more clinical data comes in. And then there are drugs, and I think I'm more hesitant about recommending drugs because rapamycin has the biggest effect on aging in animal models, and it looks promising in humans too, but it also does cause side effects, and so you have to be careful how that's dosed, and so I think it's a little bit dangerous for people to be taking that without medical supervision.
Do you take it?
No, I don't take it. The other thing I would say is that when you start...
I would agree with that. I don't take rapamycin. I think it's too dangerous.
Combining lots of different things, you get unpredictable results. Yeah. And so I meet a lot of people that are taking 10 or 12 different things.
Yeah, a lot of biohackers who take 50 pills a day.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's doing because when we start combining different things in mouse, we might take two different things that on their own extend lifespan and extend health span, but when you put them together, they cancel each other out. And I can't really predict what's going to happen. So when somebody says, I'm taking this, this, and this, what's it doing? I really don't know. And I don't think anybody knows. So I do believe, however, I'm not against this approach of biohacking. I think that informed people should be able to make informed decisions. And our job is to educate people, give them the facts, and let them make responsible decisions about what they think is best for their own health. Now, that doesn't mean we should be encouraging people to take dangerous drugs, but I think in a reasonably safe sector, it's okay for people to make their own decisions, especially if they're informed and they know what choices they're making. So.
You mentioned calorie intake restriction.
Yeah.
What do you think about intermittent fasting? It's very popular nowadays in Silicon Valley, for example.
I'm a big fan of it. I think that there's very good data on like 5-2 diet, which is you eat normally 5 days a week and you fast for 2 days. There's also time-restricted feeding, which a lot of people do, which is you eat in a 12-hour window or maybe an 8-hour window each day.
The exact same topics come up in all these interviews. You're there?
Yeah, I'm here. Brent wants to join, so he's ready.
All right. Come on. Tell him you can come.
I got calling him.
Come on. Hey.
Hey! How's it going?
Good.
I just had delicious dinner. So good. Basically like Lauren's grandmother's recipe, updated instead of like tater tots, it's organic sweet potatoes.
Yum. Now we can't see Max.
Yeah, apparently I had it closed out. Apparently you can't use the Skype camera and the camera on the website at the same time. There we go. I had to close out of the site.
I'm going to share.
Do I look better? Because
that's a 4K camera. I feel like I'm actually seeing you for the first time, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look much clearer now, for sure. 100% clear.
So the 720 to full HD made a difference. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I didn't see you before, but this is definitely HD for sure. In fact, you might want to go trim a little blonde hairs underneath your lip. That's the thing about HD. You actually have to
I'll go clean up right now. Actually, I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just go clean up that scruffle and be good to go. I'm just blasting people to see if I can get them to join.
All right.
I'm texting my family and saying live streaming with a brilliant aging scientist in 20 minutes.
Yes, in fact, it's coming up so close that I think we should end this live stream and I should start.
Oh, are we
streaming
on your channel right now?
Yeah, we're still live.
Did we ever
stop?
or did you keep it going the whole
No,
time?
I kept it going the whole time. So I'm going to end this now, and then I'm going to plug in the new stream key for the longevity channel. So everyone, if you're watching, go over there.
Go to longevity. The best way you can find it, you guys. It's hard to type in longevity on YouTube right now. Go to Rowan's channel here where you're watching Eternal Life Fan Club. Go to his featured channels where you can find longevity for sure to make sure you're finding the right channel. We'll be live. Should be in like 18 minutes to interview Brian Kennedy.
Yes. Alrighty. Bye-bye, everyone. Let's see here. End stream.